In 1836, when South Australia was first settled as a free colony, it was decided rather optimistically that a prison didn't need to be built. Soon after that, it was decided a prison did need to be built. This is Adelaide Gaol, one of South Australia's very first buildings. Let's check it out. Today I'm meeting with Maddy, one of Adelaide Gaol's education officers, to learn more about this piece of South Australian history. So when was this prison first built?
So the jail opened in 1841. That's when they moved all the prisoners from the old jail behind Government House to this one in about March. So those prisoners were people who were committing crimes here in South Australia or on the ships coming over here. So some of them might have been debtors, so they didn't have money, they were stealing, all sorts of crimes like that.
I heard construction was a bit of a saga. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, so they had builders contracted to do the build, Borrow and Goodyear, but the government kept changing their minds on the design and the materials they wanted to use, so they ended up not being able to agree on the cost of the jail. So it went to court and, like you said, it became quite a saga.
So what was the original vision behind the design?
So George Strickland Kingston, he was the architect, and he got his inspiration from over in England and Europe. So you have yards and it forms a semicircular shape so you can see the prisoners more easily.
Walking through Adelaide Gaol, you get a sense that there's a lot of history within these walls. As it turns out, there's also a lot of history under the floor, as one volunteer found out when he fell through it one day. So tell us, what is this place that we're sitting in right now?
So we're in the room that we call the archaeological dig. So this area had many lives in the time of the jail.
And how was this all uncovered?
So in about 2007, a volunteer's foot fell through the floor in one of these rooms over here, and underneath the floorboards they found all sorts of artefacts. So they decided to get the professionals in from the South Australian Museum, led by Karen Walsh, and they did some digging in the two rooms, as well as this area where they dug up under the concrete and found all sorts of things.
And what were some of the more interesting artefacts that were uncovered?
Well, something I found interesting was the oakum, which is a job that women used to do for hard labour. So they would get ropes from ships that had broken and they would pull apart those fibres and use the fibres to stuff mattresses with. They also found a baby's tooth and some razor blades stuck in the concrete, which is quite unusual.
So we've uncovered the history of the building, but what about the people who lived and, in some cases, died within these walls? In our next video, we'll dive into some of the stories of the prisoners who lived here and find out what life was really like at Adelaide Gaol.